What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing a brand new PSVR 2 title. Well, I say brand new, this game actually came out back in I think 2019-18 on the PlayStation VR 1, and that is Windlands 2. Now, I never played the original game and I never played the PSVR 1 version because the PSVR 2 and the MetaQuest were my first VR headset, so I didn't really know what to expect. But after watching a couple of trailers, I thought, you know what, this looks like something I would really enjoy. Now, I have only played maybe an hour or 90 minutes or so of this game, so I have not completed it. And from what I've seen, it's going to take you around at least 4 to 5 hours. That's just looking at some of the people who've already played it. So you are a character in this open, sort of vast, cartoon-esque world. It has a lot of color, a lot of vibrancy, and that really shines through on the PSVR 2 headset with the OLED screen. There's lots of greens and desert style. It gives me a lot of vibes of something like Journey, and maybe the style of Zelda a bit as well. There's lots of different things mixed in here, lots of different inspirations I can see. It's a very, very cool platform, and what I enjoy the most about this game is probably the main mechanic, which is the grappling mechanic. You feel like Spider-Man in this game. I know a lot of people will probably be using that as a focus point in their reviews, but it's so true. You have grappling hooks on each hand, and you can willingly use both at the same time to just swing through the trees and grapple onto points throughout the world. And there's so much verticality to this game that you can really get really high up, slingshot yourself into the air and drop down and just pick and choose where you want to grapple to. And obviously you have to do it at two certain specific points, but it gives you a lot of freedom. And this game, I believe, is running at 90 hertz natively, so it's very smooth, and that just gives you this whole really fluid experience of just floating and swinging through the air. I feel like a lot of games, if they did not have this fluidity and they had a 60 hertz reprojected to the 120, there could be a cause for something like motion sickness in this game, because you are swinging around fast and you're moving fast. I pretty much turned up the movement speed to the max in this. I have now converted to smooth turning instead of snap turning, which some people prefer one or the other, and I do feel you get a bit more immersion when you do use the smooth turning, as long as the speed is turned up quite enough so it does not jar me when I'm moving around. So I've been running at full speed in this game, jumping and swinging around, and there have been a few points where I've jumped off a really high thing and I've nearly fallen over in my living room trying to grapple onto something, thinking I'm going to fall backwards. And that's just part of the game. It's part of the immersion of feeling like you are really flying through the air and falling. So if that's what you want to feel that immersion, then it's right there. There are some haptics in the game, and I believe some were actually patched in a bit later on. This is slightly later than the embargo. The game is now out on the store. I think it's $24.99, and if you have the original version on PSVR 1, you get the free upgrade. So like I said, there are haptics in the game, and I've most notably seen it when you jump from a really, really high distance, and it's like you're about to do a Superman landing, because you're falling through the air and you can just feel the headset rumbling as if you were really getting the wind through your sails. I think it would have been nice to have that as maybe a toggle or a dial that you could turn up and down throughout the game when you're running at any speed. So it would be nice to, every time you do a jump or anytime you to do a big swing, when you get to the lowest point in the swing, maybe you feel a big whoosh through the headset rumble. I feel like that would be really cool. I do believe there are adaptive triggers in the game, but I can't quite pick out a point where it really sort of stood out to me. So I think if they are there, they are quite subtle, but I feel like it would be quite nice to have some kind of resistance to when you're swinging, because it really feel like you are holding onto the ropes, if you understand. But overall, I've had a great time playing it, and honestly I could play the game, boot it up, and literally just swing around for 10 minutes, not even trying to go through the story, trying to go through the quests, because there is a story in this game and there are things and objectives you have to do. There are boss battles, there is a bow and arrow, so there's a bit of combat in there as well. So it's also fun to try and learn how to sort of swing through the air and pull your bow out and take a pot shot at one of the enemies at the same time. I feel like there's a bit of a learning curve to getting to do that, but I think the overall effect is it's very satisfying once you nail that gameplay mechanic. As for the graphic style, it is very simplistic. Some of the character models even look like it could be something from Minecraft or something, but it really works with the cel-shaded graphic style, and it's just the colors that really pop. I just love the cartoony look of the colors of the world. The grappling points are all kind of almost cactus-like in color. They're big green plants, and you know exactly where you need to swing to. So for accessibility reasons, it's a really easy game for you to know where you can go and where you can grapple onto, and not to fall to your death. You can respawn anytime you want, so if you make a really big jump and you think you're not going to make it, or you've fallen through the air for quite some time, you can actually press I think it's the triangle or square button, and you will restart from the last place you jumped to. So yeah, you're not just constantly free falling. You can, if you mess up your jump, you can go back and start again. Like I said, I've only played 19 minutes or so, so I can't really sort of talk about the amount of bosses or enemies or what actually happens throughout the story of the game. But what I have played, it has been quite interesting. There seems to be a lot of collectibles as well to get, so you could boost that time up as well. I think the value is there in terms of fun, and if it is at least 5 hours, I think you're getting quite a good chunk of game for that time period and for how much you're paying for the game. I do really look forward to seeing what the guys at Psytech do next, because I've watched the interview with Brian from Without Parole with one of the main dudes over at Psytech, and they were talking about this next big project they're making. So if they can get, like, you know, the AAA budget in there, I really want to see what these guys are capable of doing. Other than that, it's been simple fun. It's been just a great experience. I've not played the co-op. There is actually a 4-player co-op mode that you can play through the entirety of the story together. And from watching someone else's video, they said it actually made it a little bit easier when you have to sort of go around finding multiple collectibles to progress the story. If you've got 4 of you doing it at the same time, it becomes a little bit less of a chore and more fun, because you're kind of just going out and maybe even racing towards it. So it would be nice to see something like this where you did have multiplayer modes like time attacks or races through the jungle and trying to get to a certain point with all the different verticality and stuff. I think it'd be really fun to do something like that, because yeah, racing with people like swinging like Tarzan through the trees would be super cool, and all the different ways you can try and take shortcuts to get past someone. I think there'd be a really good idea in there to expand on this with the different multiplayer modes. You could make it even sort of like a Fall Guys with all different types of cool mini games. Either way, that has been my review for Windlands 2. I would recommend it. I've had such fun so far, and I can't wait to get back into it and, you know, just swing around. I might even never finish the story in this game, who knows, but I am definitely going to jump back in for the fun aspect of it, and that is what I'm really there for, the immersion and the fun and just having a blast swinging around like Spider-Man. So thanks guys, and I will see you in the next one.